Welcome back, Lincoln Currency. The moment you see a simple 1997 1-cent coin, you probably think it's just another ordinary penny, the kind that slips into pockets, falls between couch cushions, or gets forgotten in dusty drawers. But what if I told you that a single, tiny, copper-plated piece from 1997, just 1 cent, has shocked collectors, stunned experts, and created waves in the numismatic world because of rare flaws, mysterious production details, and unbelievable collector demand, pushing its potential value to figures almost nobody imagined? Imagine holding a coin that cost the US Mint only fractions of a cent to produce, yet today whispers travel among collectors that its fully authentic rare varieties could climb to staggering, almost impossible numbers, with rumors and private offers touching the mind-bending range of $98 million. A figure so surreal it makes people question how something so tiny could carry a fortune so massive. Picture it, a coin that weighs barely 2.5 grams, lighter than a paperclip, but if you had the right variety of this exact 1997 penny, you could be holding more wealth in your fingertips than entire luxury estates, fleets of cars, or even high-end portfolios built over decades. Think about the journey of this coin, minted in a year when billions were produced. A time when nobody paid attention because pennies were everywhere, overflowing from jars, drawers, store counters, and coin rolls. Yet hidden within this massive sea of 1997 cents are microscopic mistakes, secret minting blunders, doubled features, wrong planchet strikes, off-center errors, dramatic die cracks, ghost-like doubling on Lincoln's details, and even extremely rare transition anomalies that collectors hunt obsessively. Thousands sift through bags, boxes, and rolls each year, dreaming of discovering that one shocking example, the type that can transform a humble 1-cent coin into one of the most expensive small-denomination coins ever talked about. Collectors speak about the 1997 penny with a mixture of excitement and disbelief, because something about the year makes certain rare pieces extraordinarily desirable. To understand why, imagine walking into a coin show with a small plastic flip in your hand, containing a single bright red 1997 cent. Dealers glance casually at it, until one notices something unusual, something microscopic, something almost invisible to the naked eye. Suddenly the calm chatter of the room transforms. People gather. Whispering starts. Loops appear. Lights shift. And someone says, with a tone that freezes your heartbeat, "This may actually be the one." A coin that costs you nothing, literally, just a penny, suddenly becomes the center of a bidding storm, a moment where experts argue, phones ring, and offers rise from thousands to hundreds of thousands to millions. Because in the numismatic universe, the value of a coin isn't just about its denomination, it's about rarity, demand, condition, story, survival rate, and historical context woven together like threads in a priceless tapestry. The 1997 penny is one of those coins with layers of mystery hidden behind its simple copper-plated zinc surface. On the face of the coin stands Abraham Lincoln, calm, iconic, instantly recognizable, yet collectors know that his portrait holds secrets. Some 1997 cents contain doubling on Lincoln's ear, chin, coat, or lettering, tiny distortions that only high magnification lenses reveal but that instantly explode the coin's value. Others show misaligned dies, giving the design a shift that collectors crave. Some display floating roof, anomalies on the Lincoln Memorial reverse, rare die breaks, or faint ghosting effects from the zinc core beneath the copper plating. These tiny imperfections, invisible to millions of people who used the penny every day in 1997, now push certain examples into legendary status. The story becomes even more extraordinary when you consider the physical properties of this coin. It weighs only 2.5 grams, lighter than a 1982 copper cent, and carries a diameter of 19.05 millimeters. It uses the small cent symbol, tradition, though the cent mark isn't printed on the coin. Instead, the numeric value, 1 cent, appears boldly on the reverse. The color, depending on circulation, shifts from bright golden red to deep brown, sometimes even developing vivid rainbow toning that collectors adore. But beneath that beautiful copper shine lies the truth: this is not a copper coin. It is zinc, 97.5% zinc, 2.5% copper plating. And the interaction between copper and zinc creates hidden chemical effects, blistering errors, plating bubbles, peeling, and dramatic raised lines, all of which can turn a penny into a desirable collectible if the flaw aligns with rarity patterns. Numismatists worldwide know that error coins often fetch unbelievable prices when authenticated and certified by major grading services like PCGS or NGC. But for the 1997 penny, something unusual happened. Certain examples began appearing with almost perfect surfaces, extremely high-grade finishes, deep reddish luster, and nearly flawless strike details, a combination so rare that top-graded coins jumped to astonishing market values. Some MS-69 and MS-70 miracle grade examples became almost unobtainable, and private collectors began aggressively outbidding each other in private auctions, driving the narrative that the rarest known pieces could reach insane valuations. And then came the whispers, collector-to-collector conversations, claiming that a few ultra-rare pieces, perhaps struck on experimental planchets or with dramatic errors, could theoretically reach values that belong more in the world of legendary collectibles, not everyday coins. Imagine someone opening an old jar in their home, sorting coins, expecting nothing, only to find a shiny 1997 cent that looks unusually crisp. They hold it to the light and see something strange, maybe doubling, maybe a wrong planchet tone, maybe a missing layer effect. They post a photo online. Collectors flood the comments. Some say it's normal. Others say it might be huge. They take it for grading. And then the unimaginable happens. The grader calls, voice shaking slightly, saying, "Sir, you might want to sit down." That's how legends are born. That's how ordinary people suddenly find themselves stepping into the world of million-dollar coins. And now imagine the highest possible version of this story, the one collectors fantasize about, the one that whispers through forums and private groups, a theoretical, extremely rare, nearly mythic 1997 penny with a combination of errors so perfect, so unbelievably unique, that its hypothetical private market valuation is rumored to brush the outrageous level of $98 million. Yes, $98 million. An amount that sounds like fiction but becomes entirely plausible when you consider the world of ultra-rare collectibles. Paintings sell for hundreds of millions. Stamps sell for millions. Trading cards reach millions. Rare cars reach tens of millions. So the idea that a single, one-of-a-kind penny, perhaps struck off metal, or with a dramatic minting anomaly preserved in flawless condition, could reach astronomical numbers no longer sounds impossible. It sounds like history waiting to happen, but the magic of the 1997 penny isn't just in its potential financial value, it's in the feeling it creates. The rush. The chase. The possibility that the next life-changing coin is hiding somewhere ordinary, in a pocket, in a store's change tray, in an old purse, in a forgotten piggy bank, in a dusty jar of random coins passed down through generations. Every collector dreams of the moment when they look closely at a coin they've held 1,000 times before and suddenly realize something is different, something special, something the world hasn't seen before. And what makes this coin even more fascinating is its era. The 1990s were a transitional period for the US Mint, shifting equipment, refining designs, adjusting production methods, and dealing with billions of coins per year. A single year like 1997 saw massive minting numbers, over 9 billion pennies, yet only a microscopic fraction of those have the rare traits collectors desire. That imbalance creates what collectors call the needle in a mountain-sized haystack effect. Billions of ordinary pennies exist, but the rarest ones are essentially invisible, lost among mountains of common change. And because the coin is modern, people ignore it. They assume it's worthless. They toss it aside. They never check. And that's how the rarest treasures hide in plain sight unnoticed. Now picture this: a collector buys coin rolls, maybe 100, maybe 1,000, searching. Days turn to weeks. Weeks turn to months. Hours spent under a loupe begin to blur together. But then, one night, under bright LED magnification, something jumps out. A detail doesn't look right. A letter is thicker than it should be. Lincoln's ear shows doubling. The roof of the memorial looks incomplete. The coin isn't aligned properly. Or the entire planchet seems wrong, the color off, the weight different, the ring test unusual. Heart pounding, the collector weighs it, 2.5 grams? Or 3.1? Or 3.5? Or something else entirely? An off-metal error? A wrong planchet strike? These discoveries become legendary, because each one rewrites what collectors thought was possible for the 1997 cent, and the thrill doesn't stop there. Because when a rare example hits the open market, sparks fly. Auction floors buzz. Auctioneers raise their voices. Bidders stare intensely. Phone bids flood in. The room becomes electric. Numbers climb. Cameras flash. And suddenly, a coin that once passed through grocery stores, gas stations, or kids' hands becomes the centerpiece of a high-stakes bidding war. Hundreds of thousands. Then millions. Then more. Each bid pushing higher, fueled by rarity, competition, pride, and the desire to own something no one else on earth possesses. When you hear someone mention a 1997 1-cent coin, your mind might instantly picture an ordinary penny, something so common that you barely notice it when it clinks into your palm as pocket change. But the deeper you go into the world of rare coins, the more you realize that no coin is ever truly ordinary, especially not one like the 1997 penny, a coin whose mysteries, errors, and hidden variations have stunned collectors again and again. This tiny piece of copper-plated zinc, weighing only 2.5 grams, carries a story that stretches far beyond its face value. It carries secrets of the U.S. Mint, hidden minting phenomena, microscopic imperfections, dramatic mint-state survival stories, and a collector culture built around the possibility that one perfect or extraordinary error example could be worth more than luxury homes, exotic cars, or even lifetime savings. The intrigue of the 1997 penny begins long before collectors ever identified its rarest possibilities. It traces back to the very processes that created it: the enormous minting machines, the high-speed presses, the dies that engraved Lincoln's portrait thousands of times per minute, and the copper-plated zinc planchets flying through the system by the millions each day. With minting volumes so high, even the slightest misalignment, the tiniest die deterioration, or the faintest plating anomaly could create a unique coin. And in a year like 1997, the U.S. Mint was operating at full capacity, producing billions of pennies to feed the growing demands of American commerce. That sheer volume is exactly what created the environment where rare, extraordinary errors could be born. Yet what truly pushes the 1997 penny into a special category is the combination of modern minting precision with the unavoidable reality of mechanical strain. This era saw extremely refined processes, but no amount of technology can eliminate micro-errors entirely. When billions of planchets speed through machinery, some slip, some shift, some strike off center, some get struck with misaligned dies, some are pressed twice, some receive ghosting impressions from worn equipment, and a few, an extremely rare few, get struck on the wrong metal entirely, creating off-metal errors that can reach staggering values. This delicate balance between precision and imperfection is the heart of the 1997 penny's story. But collectors don't just chase errors. They chase perfection too. And that's where the world of ultra-high-grade 1997 pennies comes in. While billions were made, only a microscopic fraction survived in breathtaking, flawless, brilliant red mint state, coins so clean, so untouched, so brilliantly struck that graders at PCGS and NGC treat them like miniature treasures. A perfect 1997 penny isn't just rare, it's near impossible. Every tiny scratch, every fingerprint, every trace of abrasion knocks its grade down. So when a nearly perfect MS-69 or theoretical MS-70 appears, collectors erupt with excitement, bidding furiously because these flawless examples are as rare, or sometimes even rarer, than dramatic errors. These two worlds, errors and perfection, collide in a fascinating way with the 1997 cent. The rumors of extreme valuations, the whisper networks of collectors, and the dramatic stories of finds in coin rolls and penny jars have turned this coin into a legend in modern numismatics. People who never cared about pennies suddenly find themselves examining every 1997 cent they encounter, searching for double deers, floating roofs, ghosting effects, die cracks, off-center strikes, and planchet anomalies. And all of this excitement is amplified by one thing: the potential, however rare, that an extraordinary example could command jaw-dropping prices in private markets, even whispers reaching toward the unbelievable figure of $98 million for a truly one-of-a-kind specimen. What makes this coin different is how attainable it seems. You don't need to be rich, you don't need to be a long-time collector, and you don't need special access. Anyone can find a 1997 penny. Anyone can search. Anyone can hold the possibility of discovering a hidden treasure in their hand. It's a coin that represents opportunity, mystery, and excitement all at once. It is the very definition of modern collectible potential, a reminder that even the smallest object can carry the biggest story. When we begin exploring the true depth of the 1997 1-cent coin, the first thing we must understand is how something so small, so ordinary on the surface, becomes the center of massive attention among collectors. The secret lies in the layers of details that most people never notice. A penny is not simply a penny. Every curve, every shadow, every contour of Lincoln's face, every letter of "I in God we trust," every line of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse is carved with intent, shaped by metal pressure, and stamped with extraordinary force. And in the case of the 1997 penny, these features tell hundreds of micro-stories the moment you examine them under magnification. The portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse is one of the most iconic coin designs in the world, and by 1997 it had already been in circulation for nearly 9 decades. But even though the design was old, the dies used to strike it were not. Every year, new dies were created, polished, mounted, and fed into minting machines. And this exact annual cycle is what gave birth to the subtle changes and unpredictable anomalies found in 1997 cents. A die that is too worn produces soft details. A die used too long produces ghosting effects. A misaligned die produces doubling. A cracked die produces raised metal lines. Every flaw in every machine becomes a fingerprint of uniqueness on a coin, and this is why collectors hunt 1997 cents so passionately. Let's start by imagining a brand new die in 1997, polished to mirror brilliance, edges sharp, details crisp. During the first few thousand strikes, coins appear absolutely pristine. These are the coins that, decades later, achieve unbelievably high grades like MS-68, or even MS-69. Collectors look for these early strike coins because their details are razor sharp. Lincoln's hair shows every individual strand. His coat folds appear strong and dimensional. The lettering is bold with no rounding on the edges. These high-grade early strike pennies are incredibly rare because only a tiny fraction survive without ever being touched or circulated. They needed to go straight from mint bags to sealed storage, then remain untouched for nearly 30 years. Most never had that chance. But once the die begins to wear, microscopic changes begin to appear. They start small, extra metal flow lines, faint blur around the letters, slight softness around Lincoln's jawline. But with millions of strikes per die, these changes become more pronounced. And it's during this stage that ghosting effects appear, the faint outline of Lincoln's portrait on the reverse side of the penny. This happens because repeated pressure and stress begin bending the thin copper plating over the zinc core. Collectors look for ghosting because some examples show unusually strong impressions, making the coin look visually fascinating and sometimes extremely valuable if paired with other rare traits. Then we move to the most exciting stage, the stage where machines begin to show strain. Dies misaligned by fractions of a millimeter, creating doubling. A tiny shift in the die position during the strike can create doubled ears, doubled letters, or doubled numbers on the date. A collector finding one of these doubled die 1997 cents instantly knows they're holding something few people have ever seen. And in the world of pennies, a doubled die can transform a 1-cent coin into a 5-figure or even 6-figure collectible depending on strength, visibility, and condition. Not all errors are dramatic, some are subtle, but those subtle ones often matter the most. A planchet that didn't receive enough copper plating might show exposed zinc. A penny with uneven plating might show blisters or bubbles. A slightly clogged die might leave missing details on the coin. These varieties might look like defects to the untrained eye, But to a collector, they are treasure markers, unique features that make a coin stand out in a sea of billions. Beyond plating issues, even more dramatic errors were produced in 1997. Off-center strikes are among the favorites. Some coins were struck so far off alignment that Lincoln's portrait is pushed toward the rim, or the date is partially missing, or a massive blank crescent of metal appears where the design should have been. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin becomes, especially if the date remains fully visible. A 1997 penny with a 70% off-center strike and a visible date can bring massive offers from era collectors because it blends rarity, beauty, and historical curiosity into one unforgettable piece. But one of the most talked about possibilities for this year is off-metal errors. Most people don't realize that mistakes happen at every mint, even in modern years like 1997. Sometimes, planchets intended for other coins accidentally mixed into the penny production line. Imagine a 1997 penny struck on a dime planchet, lighter, smaller, silver-colored, completely wrong in every way. Or imagine one struck on a foreign planchet that happened to be in the facility at the same time. These are the types of errors that shock the numismatic world because their rarity is almost unimaginable. When authenticated, off-metal errors can command outrageous prices, tens of thousands, sometimes more, depending on purity and condition. And with the rumors circulating about private offers reaching into the tens of millions for the most dramatic and unique varieties, collectors now examine every 1997 penny with heightened intensity. What makes the 1997 penny even more enticing is the absolutely overwhelming production number, more than 9 billion coins. That number may sound like it reduces rarity, but in reality, it increases the excitement because hidden within 9 billion coins are anomalies that could easily escape detection for decades. Most were spent, lost, damaged, or neglected. Only a tiny fraction were ever preserved. So when a pristine, untouched, vibrantly red 1997 penny comes up for grading, people instantly turn their attention to it. High-grade examples represent survival against impossible odds. The weight of the 1997 penny, 2.5 grams, also plays a major role in identifying rare varieties. Collectors weigh each coin because even a tiny deviation can signal something important. A heavier penny might indicate it was struck on a leftover copper planchet from early 1982. A lighter penny could signal a defective strike, or even a foreign planchet error. Weight becomes one of the first clues in solving a coin mystery, and the 1997 year is full of such mysteries waiting to be uncovered. Even the sound of the coin matters. Zinc pennies make a dull, flat sound when struck. But a 1997 penny struck on the wrong metal makes a higher, sharper ring, instantly alerting collectors that something unusual lies in their hand. And when such a coin appears in private auctions or high-end sales rooms, whispers spread quickly. People want to know if it's a myth, a rumor, a prototype, or a genuine mint escape that could change numismatic history forever. All of this, the design variations, the minting flaws, the error possibilities, the incredible survival rarity, creates a coin that is far more than a penny. The 1997 cent is a universe of stories, each hidden behind its copper plating, waiting for someone with curiosity and patience to uncover them. And as collectors dig deeper, as more examples surface, as more dramatic discoveries appear, the excitement only grows. Because somewhere out there, in a coin jar, in a forgotten drawer, in a bank roll, or in a sealed mint bag untouched since 1997, there may be a coin so unique, so perfect, or so shockingly flawed that its value could reach heights few people can even imagine.